Okay, so let's check out number 5. Number 5 talks about a group of campers went on a hike over several hours. They graphed their distance from the camp in miles and the relation to the number of minutes that they had been hiking. Complete the table to show the group's rate of change during each segment of their hike. So segment A, segment B, segment C, and segment D. So we've got 4 different segments here. That means they're going to have 4 different speeds because this graph shows the speed. Each section represents a different kind of speed. So we need to find the rate of change and show some supporting work. Well, if I wanted to basically do A, so I'm going to actually take everything away and pretend like this is A. Nothing else exists. If I wanted to find the rate of change, I choose 2 points. Let's choose the first point and the second point. Those are the easiest. Or first point, last point, I'm sorry. This first point was 60 on the X, 5 on the Y. The other one was 0, 0. So take a look at this. I pulled those points out, the 60 and the 5, and I made a table. And then the 0, 0. So these are the 2 points that A lives between, okay? Notice how I like to have these sections in there so I know it reminds my eyes, which then remind my brain that I'm dealing with different sections here. So let's find the rate of change. If I find the rate of change, 0 to... Oh, I did this backwards. Sorry. I started at 0, 0. I ended at 65. So 60 and 5. Okay. Now, right away, I can look at A and know that it's going to be positive. So I know I'm going to end up with a positive number. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and find the change in Y. The change in Y was a positive 5. The change in X was a positive 60. The rate of change is always the change in Y over the change in X, which equal the change in Y is 5. The change in X is 60. 5 divided by 60 is the same thing as 1 over 12, 0.083. 0.083, and that's repeating. Now you got half credit if you got that far, but a rate always needs your words. Now your words, remember, it's Y over X, Y per X. My Y is miles, my X is minutes, so it's Y per X or miles per minute. So make sure that you got miles per minute. Okay, next one, segment B. Let's take a look at segment B. Automatically, you should know that a horizontal line like this, I'm not moving. So imagine yourself not moving. What's your speed? 0 miles an hour. What's your rate? 0 miles an hour. What's your slope? 0 miles an hour. So you might have already figured out that that's 0 miles per hour. That's my rate of change. That's my speed. But if you wanted to do it the long way, you could pick the first one, which is 60 and 5, and the second point, which is 90 and 5. And you could have made the table. So my first point was 60 and 5, 60 and 5. My second one was 90 and 5, 90 and 5. So my change in Y was 0. My change in X was a positive 30. It's always change in Y over change in X. My change in Y was 0. My change in X was 30. 0 divided by 30 is 0. Make sure you remembered your miles per minute. All right, C. C I know is positive because it's going up, it's going away, and it's going up into the sky. I also know it's probably a little bit faster than A as well. So let's take a look at this first dot. This first dot is 90 and 5. That was not the bell. That was the bell in this video, not the real bell. This is 90 and 5. This is 130 and 10. So I took those 2 points, 90 and 5, and 130 and 10, and I made a table. So let's find the rate of change. The change in Y was a positive 5. The change in X was a positive 40. Okay, well the change in Y divided by change in X is equal to the rate of change. The change in Y was a 5. The change in X was a 40. 5 divided by 40 gives you a rate of 0.125, and again it's Y per X, so it's miles per minute. Again, a little bit faster than that A section because it's a little bit steeper. All right, now D. D I know is negative. I'm going back towards my home or wherever we started from. So I'm going back towards, that's a negative rate. So let's make a table out of these, 130 and 10, and then if that's 160, 170, 180, and 7. So if you make a table out of those, 130 and 10, and then 180 and 7, you've got your 2 points. Let's find how much and what happened during this rate of change. 10 to 7, I have a negative 3. 130 to 180, I had a positive 50. It's the change in y over the change in x. Change in y was negative 3. Change in x was 50. Negative 3 divided by 50 gives you a negative 0.06. Does it make sense that our rate was negative? Sure, because it's pointing down, which is a negative slope or negative rate. And don't forget your, of course, miles per minute. All right, there's number 5. Let's take a look at number 6. The table shows the amount of water in the aquarium in terms of time. So we've got amount of water of gallons. We've got minutes for the x. So we got y here, minutes for the x. What is the rate of change for this data? So again, just simply asking us rate of change again. Be sure to include your units. It says it right there. Let's talk about our units first. We know our final answer is going to be some number, blank per blank. We know it's y per x, so it's going to be gallons per minute. So when I started, when time is 0, when I started I had 110 gallons. Then 15 minutes later I had 80. 30 minutes later I had 50. 45 minutes later I only had 20 gallons of water. I'm losing water. So I know my rate of change is definitely going to be negative. So let's find these guys. Here I lose 30, so that's a negative 30. I lose another 30, and I lose another 30. Here 15 minutes go by, 15 minutes go by, and 15 minutes go by. So I know that it's a constant rate of change. I'm losing water at the same speed the whole time that it's draining. So the rate of change again is the change in y over the change in x. The change in y is negative 30. The change in x is 15. Negative 30 divided by 15 gives you negative 2. You have negative 2 gallons per minute. So every minute that goes by, you're losing 2 gallons. All right, remember, take a moment, make sure you're telling me and explaining on the paper why you got it wrong.